All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here. Game number 2 between Newbee and Vici Gaming in this best of 5 grand final for the Chinese qualifiers for Captain's Draft 4.0. I want to apologize for the delay. We had some server issues. I of course, updated you guys on the Shanghai server situation. Vici Gaming were lagging on the last server, I think, which was Xijing. And now we're on the Guangdong server. I know I'm really butchering these names and mispronouncing them like crazy, but you should probably understand where we are now, hopefully. Just wanted to make everything clear. Now that that's out of the way, we could start playing and watching some Dota here as we are into the next draft. Newbee, of course, taking game 1 pretty handedly after about 20 minutes. Mugi on the anti-mage really came through and carried the game. Kaka and KP having some very good ganks on their particular heroes, the Earthshaker and the Legion Commander as well. But now a fresh draft, a very interesting draft at that. A lot of fighting potentially with these heroes, and we will get into the game. My name is Malt. With me is Baseskip. What do you see with this current draft, Cameron? What are you looking at here?
I think the Spirit Breaker seems like it might be the best position for in this pool. I would be surprised if SB wasn't grabbed. And I think if there's any hero in this game that looks like it could potentially be the like 1v5 win the game all by yourself hero, I think it's the OD.
Yes.
So maybe we'll see that.
I was thinking the same thing. I think OD is probably one of the stronger heroes that can actually take control of the game and just destroy. We've seen a lot of Razor. That has been a very popular pick. It hasn't really been super successful. Undying is a hero that both of these teams ran, but mostly Vici at DotaPay and ran it to great success. They were one of the few teams that did run it. SG tried running it at the beginning of the tournament. That didn't really work out well, but they think that, I believe Vici think that this hero is very strong. I can't remember if it's Lanham or Fenrir that plays it. I think it's Fenrir, but they really like this hero a lot. Vici do.
Yeah, I think it's probably Fenrir. So it looks like Vici maybe kind of sticking to their guns in terms of playing this relatively fast, fairly aggressive overall style. I could see them maybe grabbing the Chen even, but Gyrocopter also fitting into that same kind of mold. Like they could grab like Chen and Viper as 2 other heroes, and then just have this mega death ball kind of lineup going on,
Right.
or even the Lesh if they feel like they need more building damage.
Ooh.
Though that might tip their lineup a little bit too far over into having lots and lots of magical damage, but not enough physical, and that's where they get like bitten by rushed BKBs and things like that.
Right.
But it'll be interesting to see how this one goes. I don't know if we've seen this many like strength heroes pick/banned in any of our other Captain's Draft games. I feel like it tends to be not as much of a priority, but I guess it's just a particular pool that we have here with like the Night Stalker and the Brewmaster.
It's a lot of good roaming
getting
supports
taken out.
that have been taken out. The Brewmaster, of course, isn't, but I think this is a very interesting pool. Elder Titan's been kind of a popular pick for some of these teams recently. I've actually liked Elder Titan. He's usually picked in conjunction with something like Phase's Void, which of course isn't available, so maybe not a high value pick this game. Newbee will go for the Rubik, which is probably fine. I mean, it's one of the better 4/5 position supports available. There's not too many other choices in terms of the intelligence role. I don't know. I mean, it's just a stock standard draft. You might see this opening for both teams in a captain's mode game, let alone a captain's draft. I do think that they do like running the Spirit Breaker for Newbee. I would be not surprised if they picked it. They will go for the Bounty Hunter instead. So they will have Bounty and Rubik as the supports for Newbee, and not go for Faith's Spirit Breaker right now.
So they're quite single target focused. Like that, probably playing mostly for pickoffs. Vici a little bit more group up. Pretty similar to what we saw in the previous game, honestly. I wonder. The core Lesh I think is tempting for either team here as Vici. Well, they're the ones who take the Spirit Breaker. Interesting.
Yeah, that's hype.
Okay, so double melee supports. I think the SB is quite good against the Bounty Hunter. Annoying for him to play against. Him getting charged and quite easily killed off if you get spotted. And in terms of like AoE teamfight control or setup for this Gyrocopter, there isn't actually that much. And they're probably setting up for a Darkseer pick, I guess.
Would
Chuck
make
Iron
sense.
Shells and everybody and
Yeah.
just run in. Like I think that's probably what they're angling for. It's pretty good with like not only is there the Ion Shell synergy, but being able to vacuum everybody together as the charge goes through. It's like a build your own Ravage in some ways.
Yeah,
So that's
and
something to look out for.
It's completely different than what Newbee had, like you mentioned. It's very single target, very pick-off heavy, pick-off centric for this Newbee team. Vici Gaming, if they pick up a Darkseer, it gives them a lot of team fight, especially with Undying involved as well. And it's kind of hard to deal with, right? Darkseer can kind of get away with, I think, a lot in the laning phase as well against a Bounty Rubik combination, or at least you should be able to. So I like the choice if they go that route.
I think they're trying to figure out whether or not they have to take it now, because Newbee they have run SCCC on the Batrider before. So if they wanted to try and like deny pick the Darkseer, they could do it. But I think the conversation happening in the Vici camp is, are we actually worried if they do that? Because I think they would prefer to have this Leshrac, and if they can get the Darkseer, sure. But otherwise, maybe we just see, like, I don't know, maybe...
What else is available, actually?
Maybe like an ET?
Yeah. I mean, maybe they could send somebody else up there into the off lane that they already have. It would make things interesting, that's for sure. I don't think Newbee will pick it. I'm not even sure Vici are going to pick it. I think they will because they have the Spirit Breaker, but there's still a lot to be grabbed here. There's still a lot to be decided, especially with Newbee picking their last two heroes right now.
Yeah, I think Newbee want to pick Ursa, but they're trying to figure out if they
Okay,
never mind. It's the same kind of idea.
Get a BKB early.
They want a bursty hero that can like just pop the gyrocopter or the Lesh before they do too much in a fight, because if they live for a long time, they just pour out so much damage, and Newbee are not tanky at all. Sure, they got a little bit of spell resistance from the Rubik, but when it really comes down to it, it's going to be extremely important to either burst the Gyro or the Lesh. And those are two heroes that you can burst with, relative ease, depending on the heroes that you have. So I think that's really what this PA is here for. But the PA is much more resilient to potentially being aggro-tried, which I think is what they're really worried about here. Because Rubik Bounty is not a good defensive support setup at all. It's they're going to lose that lane really hard if they get aggro tri-lane, but at least PA can throw some daggers and still get something.
I was worried about the early game from Newbee, and then they picked the Viper, and it makes things a little bit easier, a little bit better.
You're just a Viper fanboy.
Yeah, I mean, I am. Would you believe that I haven't played it since the change?
Really? Is it too unfamiliar? It's too weird?
No, it's not the case. I just don't have the time to play Dota a lot that much anymore, but I've wanted to play it. I've watched numerous games. Of course, everybody knows. If you know me, you know that I am a Viper fan through and through. Even with the changes to the Nether Toxin, I think he's actually a better hero now than he was previously. Of course, I think a lot of people think that way. But you were spot on the money about the Young 11 Darkseer, my friend. It does come out with the 5th pick. Newbee obviously can't fit it in their draft, so they're able to pick the Leshrac without worrying about, getting counterpicked with the Darkseer on the other side. And based on your thoughts, it sounds like you're kind of on this Vici train, I would assume, but maybe you are thinking of something else.
Yeah, I think I am on the Vici train here. I like the Lesh to supplement some of the building damage that they were missing in the lineup in the previous game, and I think they're going to be really well equipped to like run at the lanes and take the fights. This game could get turned around. I think a lot of it depends on levels for the bounty and farm for the Batrider. They're going to be the ones that fight this game back to a winnable position if Newbee like fall behind or go even in the lanes. I don't anticipate the PA doing all that amazingly well. The Rubik is kind of and Viper will probably do all right, but a farmed Viper by himself is not going to be nearly enough to stand in the face of this Vici lineup.
I have a feeling that this early game might be disastrous for Newbee. I would be shocked if they don't get down a few K at the start of this game. And even with the Viper, they have Mugi playing it, so now we have to wonder where are these heroes actually going. For Vici, Iron Shell, Spirit Breaker, Undying sounds pretty awful. Now you add in Rocket Barrage and anything the Lesh can do, and all of a sudden this early game feels pretty rough, but who knows? I might be wrong about this. Maybe Vici, or rather Newbee, somehow get things going really well, and they are able to take an advantage, and at that point they snowball it with the track gold, but I have a feeling Vici are going to be pretty good in this early game here with base skip.
Yeah, I think so Vici are definitely going aggro try, I think, with the Gyro Undying Spirit Breaker to put pressure on. So I think if you're Newbee, you don't even bother trying to like do anything in the bottom lane. And it looks like their answer might actually be that they're going to be running the Viper down here and just kind of sacrificing the Viper and then hoping that putting the PA mid and camping the mid lane is going to be enough to alleviate pressure from bottom. Because this happens a lot in Dota, where you can't fight a lane head on. So the best thing that you can do is actually to go and like set a fire somewhere else and hope that their supports come running over to try and put it out, and then it gives, you know, it creates some space that way instead of trying to fight them away from the lane directly.
Right.
And it seems like that's going to be the approach. I think they're going to try for a first blood on the Lesh. Whether or not they get it remains to be seen, but I think that is the Newbee plan here.
We've seen other teams do this, sack the Viper in the off lane. I've seen Moo do it a lot for complexity. I have seen No-Tail do it at the Dota Pit Minor. To little to no success. No-Tail got crushed that game. They ended up losing the game as well. Resolution, of course, did pretty fine in that game. But again, having a Viper, you are very strong in the early game, but you get crushed in the early game, and all of a sudden you can't really come back. Maybe the new Veil build is what gets him back in this game if he does get harassed down. But as you mentioned, it is going to be the aggressive trial lane for Vici, and this is a scary trial lane. But Fenrir's going to start mid for now. They're going to rotate in Kaka. He actually isn't shadow walked. Fenrir will see him momentarily. Now the charge coming in mid. There's also a courier that's in trouble. SCCC has no Phantom Strike. There's the Split Earth coming out. A lot of damage being done, but he should be fine. Stifling Dagger, he has no... Actually, he does have a salve in his backpack. And he might have to bring it out. In fact, he's going to tango first, bring the salve out. So just some harassment at SCCC, but they actually rotated the Viper top, and KP will go bottom. So the musical lanes are beginning here for Newbee. Base skip.
I mean, almost no matter who they put up against the Darkseer, I feel like Young 11 is still going to get bulk farm, right? I don't know if there's any combination of heroes that they really have that can shut him down easily. So I guess they just put the Viper there. He does his best. See what happens.
Wow, they were really far away from each other. Young 11 is like behind his tier 1, so is the Viper. The lanes were set up very interestingly, but they're gonna rotate the Darkseer down bottom too. So again, it's musical lanes. They'll TP up the Gyrocopter to the top lane. So wholesale lane changes potentially. We might see Fenrir charge up there at some point. There is a pull coming in from Newbee and Kaka, and Fenrir will try to pull the wave away, but that's not gonna work. This is a really weird start to this game for sure.
Yeah, everybody just kind of shuffling around. The PA getting pretty decent CS on mid. Ori's harassing him quite a bit, but CCC, again, that was the thing that I was saying about the PA compared to picking something like the Ursa, which I think would fulfill a similar role in terms of bursting the Lesh or the Gyrocopter quickly, is that the PA has a more guaranteed early game, and I think that's really the big concern for Newbee. Just a raw stun dropped on SC mid. Nicely done by Ori.
And he's going to have to salve up. Working out his bottle, he's actually relatively close. That's good news. Meanwhile, Kaka's rotating him with an Arcane Rune. There is a Sentry, and now Kaka will realize, because he gets auto-attacked twice by Ori, so he's not going to be able to really work with mid unless he has a Sentry to drop down. Moogie top lane,
charge all the way in.
6th last hits. This is actually not that bad for Newbee, all things considered. They're getting pretty good farm for most of their heroes. Not like they're getting destroyed.
Yeah, pretty low farm game, like overall. But I think the biggest thing for Newbee is that they're avoiding the SB and the Undying, right? For Vici, what they really want these heroes to be doing is just kind of crushing a lane, but they've been a little bit distracted, haven't really been played together either. Maybe once they get some more levels, we'll see some rotations for Fenrir into the Undying's lane.
Yeah, I think so.
But for now, he's looking at mid.
Yeah, he'll try to make a go. SCCC does it his bottle. Things are a lot harder, especially with him under the tower.
Seconds. He
has the Split Earth, like you mentioned, but I think they're going to wait. Ori, does he have another Salve? He only has a Tango to work with. And SCCC's top of the CS. That might change with a gank. But they actually TP'd Fenrir up top, which, of course, I don't think they know. Meanwhile, they're going to charge Moogie. He might be dead. I don't think he can get to the tier 1 in time. The charge coming even though Telekinesis Faith was there, ready to go. Kaka rotates up. Lanham's going to get off a Soul Rip and a Decay, doing a lot of damage to Moogie, who will salve now. Lanham might get turned down, but he has 12 stolen strength. They see the Sentry. Kaka's going to back himself away. Now the poison attack from Moogie, who is back into the fray. And the aggression countered early, again, because of a good lift from Faith there.
Yeah, a good positioning from Faith, making sure that he was off to the side so he didn't become the new target. And now they're going to lift up Paparazzi.
He is in trouble. Shuriken coming out. He is getting destroyed. Fade Bolt, one more auto attack. Moogie gets it done. Fenrir will charge onto the Bounty Hunter. They won't have enough damage to bring him down, even with the detection of the Sentry. Maybe they will. He's actually getting pretty low, and they have the Decay, so I spoke too soon. So they will get a 1-for-1 trade, but obviously that favors Newbee heavily. And Viper you don't want to overestimate how strong, or rather underestimate how strong you can be in the beginning stages of this game.
Yeah, and KP is doing a pretty bang-up job at bottom at the moment in terms of finding farm, getting CS. I do think the lane will probably take a little bit of a turn once Young 11 picks up his level 5 and has that 3rd point up in the Ion Shell, but for now, KP doing very nicely and actually driving him pretty far back with the sticky stacks.
Yeah. He's got 10 wand charges, and he also has a soul ring, so things get a little bit easier for the Darkseer, but like you mentioned, KP's actually leading in the CS. I don't know if that's going to continue, because, again, it is a Darkseer. I think this is a great... I mean, it's still only 5 minutes into the game, but this is 5 minutes for Newbee to... Actually, they're leading the game in a game that is really rough in terms of the early game for them, so... Good stuff.
Yeah, Newbee are really... They're chilling, and I think their late game matchups are quite good. It's very important that Vici's lineup kind of snowballs. It's going to be important that they stay far ahead so that they can build enough survivability on the... enough utility items on the supports, and then enough survivability on the Lesh that he doesn't just get bursted if he gets focused by the Viper and the PA, let's say. Heroes like Lesh, I think, not quite in the same category as, say, like Razor or Necrophos, but I think you can kind of think of them in the same way, where if they survive in a fight, they do loads, but there's this risk where if they fall behind, they just kind of do nothing and just get bursted.
So then what's the choice defensively? Something like a Eul Scepter? Ghost Scepter is obviously pretty good against something like a PA, but maybe Eul's is a bit better.
Damage on Mugi.
Yeah, Mugi's dead, I think, actually. Black Cannon, he's going to use the stick. He's in trouble. He'll drop the Nether Toxin down the Solar. Mugi, one more auto attack away, and that'll do it from Lanham. Now the dust comes out. Kaka needs to be careful. He's on level 2. First hit bash. They have the homing missile to follow him up as well. He does have a range up, but that gets taken out by AJK. They will dive the tower. They might get all 3, and in fact, they lost the PA mid as well. 4 dead. We were talking about Newbee's early game. They're really doing well, and then all of a sudden they lose 4 heroes across the map, so there's that.
That was a straight solo kill from Ori. He just stunned him, turned on the Pulse Nova, and that was the end of it. Very, very nice. In terms of your question, I think it's not even so much about his itemization. I think the Bloodstone the Bloodstone health is what he needs to contribute to the equation. It's more about the supports and the Darkseer, I think. The utility items from the Darkseer are going to be a big part of Lesh's survivability, be it a mech or a pipe or whatever the situation is. And then a Solar Crest is going to be crazy important.
They're going to dive this again.
A little bit, but...
Meanwhile, mid, they're going to make a jump onto Ori. Telekinesis, good splitter. That might save his life. He's going to get Kaka, it looks like, with one more Pulse Nova. No, he stays alive at SCCC. He doesn't find the damage, and he's going to get dropped down, and Faith is going to fall next as well. Too much damage. Ori even has time to salve up, and he gets himself a double kill. And all of a sudden, this llama is off to a very fast start in this mid lane.
That darn space llama, man. They've got the space cow. They got the space llama.
Dude.
It's scary. I mean, they still haven't taken a tier 1 yet, so not 100% online, but it's going to be coming before too long.
He's level 8. SCCC's level 5. He's going to get charged again.
I think he might be
he's dead. Yeah, he has Phantom Strike in 3. Split Earth. They will have TPs. Good raindrop to keep him alive as well. They'll cancel, I think, all of those TPs. Now they'll rotate Kaka in, but the Bat Rider, who was TPing, he's going to stay bottom instead and just deal with this wave, so... You know, I thought Newbee had done a pretty good job up until recently. Obviously, this is a very tough team to play up against in the early game, so they're still... I mean, it's... Oh, Faith might be dead now. No, never mind. He's fine. On the other side, maybe they find KP, the lasso. Rather, they're going to find Young 11. There's no more Firefly. He is surged up for a moment longer. He's going to vacuum back in KP. KP, he's going to go down, and Young 11 might find 2. A double kill again. These turnarounds are disastrous for Newbee. My God, they're giving him so much farm on some of these heroes.
These little advantages are turning into a pretty big lead with all these turnarounds. This is scary. And yeah, there you go. So the defensive items start coming up. To me, it says something about mech as an item when you're playing against this Newbee lineup, and they have pretty good physical damage between the Viper and the Phantom Assassin, and Darkseer's just like, nah. Screw mech. I'm just gonna get hood. Yeah. I mean, there was some magical damage as well, and I guess Viper with the recent changes now does more magical damage and less physical damage compared to his previous incarnation. But in summary, buff mech, please.
Yeah, maybe a good idea, but He's going to go for the hood now, and the pipe, of course, will be finished up pretty soon. Kaka, level 4, trying to get to that level 6, getting some track. KP now rotating top. He's actually going to take a giant stack for himself, which is pretty nice. KP is having a pretty good game, despite him dying a moment ago. Diving bottom, perhaps, onto Kaka. They've got a charge right on top of him. Young Levin's kind of following him. He's trying not to show he knows what's up, and now Kaka, the jig is up. The dust will come through. And he is going to get burned by the Zion Shell pretty quickly. He is done so. Young 11 will find a killing spree. More gold for himself. Now top lane, they're making it go into Paparazzi, who's pretty low. They have Lasso in 4, not nearly enough in time. Paparazzi burning down, but not dead yet. 100 HP, Young 11 will rotate in. He's going to drop another Iron Shell, and here we go. Ori's in for the backside, and Faith just gets blown away like a pinata exploded. They get off the splitter onto KP. Plenty of damage from the Pulse Nova. The call down gets dropped as well. Kaka is lucky to live, but not for much longer. Paparazzi finds a double with a homing missile. The last one will come in onto Ori, but Ori's still rather tanky. He has 7 wand charges. The Pulse Nova continues, and they'll find the kill. Splitter actually misses, and Young 11 is dove a little bit too deep. He's got Surge, however, and he's still fine. Meanwhile, KB's still getting chased down the Iron Shell that it came from Autumn. Another homing missile. They're at the Shrine. They want this kill. Shrine will come out. That'll keep him alive, and they're going to try to turn this on Young 11. He's staying a little bit too long. The Flame break it. He will get dropped down. KB gets a double kill. Can he find a triple? Autumn's burning up. Another Stifling Dagger will come through. One more auto attack, and there it is. A triple kill for KP. All of a sudden up to 1,800 gold. So, Vici perhaps getting a little ahead of themselves there, but still a very good fight at the start of it for them.
I said KP had to do the work this game, that he was going to be the one that kind of gets them back into the game if the early game went poorly. I did not anticipate that it would be in this fashion. The fact that he had the levels that he did completely decided the outcome of that dive, right? I don't know if Vici quite realized that they were diving into like maxed Firefly and max Sticky, but they just took so much damage from KP. I think I had the same reaction as Vici. I saw the call down come down, and in my mind, everybody on Newbee was dead. It was a 5-0, and that was like the tier 1, and that was going to be the end of it. But then got a nice lasso off, dragged Ori in really deep, and they at least got something out of that at the end of the day.
Yeah, KP made some really good moves there, and what could have been now like an 8k lead for Vici or something ridiculous is back down to a 3k lead for them. Again, they still have plenty of farm. They're taking down towers now with Ori. So it is still a bit disconcerting, but you're at least getting something going for your Batrider like you talked about, and he needs to do work with this Blink Dagger. He now has it. Kaka is up to level 5, so getting track is his next best, or rather his next option, as SCCC will find farm top and try to get to a Desolator. They're obviously not going to get the tier 1 trade because this tower is completely healthy. Ori will take down the tier 1 in the bottom lane, probably rotate to try to find a kill or defend top, or even just push mid. They've already taken down the mid tier 1 tower, so never mind there. And Courier? Dead. Kaka's going to find it. They will get the pipe at least for Young 11 in the meantime. Dust will come out, and Kaka's probably in trouble. They're actually going to turn this around telekinesis, but Young 11's very tanky. It's a full pipe. Good luck killing him. They have the homing missile. I think Kaka's... He has a raindrop. Vacuum back in. That's the raindrop gone. Dust is still up. Nope. It didn't matter. They had the Iron Shell, and they just stood right next to him as the homing missile hit. So... KP is...
You can't even see it, but the Gyrocopter did have a shell.
Here we go. This could be a very big kill. They need more damage. The Nether Toxin, the Viper Strike, Paparazzi in trouble. He has no TP. Not that it would have mattered anyways. He will get caught and killed. And Newbee, there's the first Blink Dagger with an Invis Rune to get the kill. Beautifully done there to get that turnaround at the very least.
Very nice from KP. He's really, really snowballing this little bit of an advantage that he's managed to build up. Oh, he's TPing down towards bottom. There is a charge currently on him, so Fenrir knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And Lanham trying to run out.
No track just yet for Kaka, which is a little bit unfortunate. Blink, though, they will have the vision. They need to take down 1 creep, and Kaka will have 6. The Flesh Golem will come out. He has 2 sticky napalm stacks. There's the Shuriken to fly through, and he will stay alive with the Soul. Here was Paparazzi. He's got the homing missile. KP's in trouble. The track is now up. He needs to leave. Here comes SCCC. The Stifling Dagger. The 3 hits from the Phantom Strike. They will find another kill for Newbee. Not to mention the Tombstone on top of it, which Kaka will get for 150 gold. And suddenly they found a couple of kills across the board, and they have dropped this net worth advantage from Vici from about 8k to 1k now. Beautifully done from Newbee.
Yeah, they're doing well. I mean, they're behind in terms of the map control, but Vici giving away some really important kills, and they're going to have to figure out how to play this in a more disciplined way, especially now that the Bounty Hunter has the level 6, because that is the engine for Newbee to kind of come back into this game and then head into that late game where I think they're favored, honestly, if this game goes on too long. The Undying's going to fall off to the point where he doesn't really do that much. I mean, the Flesh Golem will be useful, but They gotta continue to get stuff done in these early stages. Maybe once the Lesh picks up this Bloodstone, she has in like a second.
Yeah.
They can make a play, get some more charges going, and just snowball behind the Lesh.
But you're absolutely right about the late game, though. Like, can you imagine SCCC gets his BKB, and then he just jumps on somebody with a full 10-second BKB? I don't think they're going to survive unless they have some defensive capabilities or some counter initiation. But SCCC almost has Deso, and that's frightening because he was getting killed a couple of times in the mid lane. KP is top of the net worth for his team, for Newbee. He's got a full drum now on top of the Blink Dagger that he just got. There will be moves from Newbee. This is not a smoke move, but there's no vision to scout it anyways. They have a ward up at the top lane, so they saw Young 11. They know that he's throwing out Ion Shells up here, but he's not moving out. He knows he can get ganked rather easily, especially with Lasso up, with Firefly, with Kaka and Trek. So he needs to be very careful. Young 11, still not spotted, but he will throw another Ion Shell.
And Mugi just tanking up this game. It's going to be going for a Hood first, and then straight into a Blade Mail. It looks like his plan is just run into the fights. We've seen this a little bit with some of the heroes that have been picked. I guess we've seen quite a bit of Gyrocopter as the big thing, but lots of people buying Blade Mails against Gyro and just kind of running at him. That makes it fairly difficult for the Gyrocopter to play, especially since people have been going for fairly squishy builds on the Gyro. The Paparazzi this game, no points in the Rocket Barrage. So,
yeah. This is what I was talking about last game when we saw the Gyrocopter. It's that decision. Okay, do we farm? Do we fight? Looks like Paparazzi made that decision. I don't even think he needed Rocket Barrage to be effective in these fights anyways, so.
Yeah, he's also pretty behind, so I think this is like a I need to farm build. He's got pretty middling net worth.
Wow, you're not even kidding. He has 4.7k net worth. What happened there?
I didn't realize it was that bad until I looked over at the net worth chart and it's like, oh, he's doing pretty poorly. Oh, Newbee.
They need to be very careful here. Newbee do. There's a ward on the high ground, which if they had vision up on that Uber cliff, they would know. There's a sentry there. The scan will connect. The Firefly's there, and I think you need to back if you're Vici. You need to be careful here in terms of the Lasso. Faith is looking for lift. He's going to find it, or he might be in trouble. Lasso will come in. There's the vacuum back, though, and now they're going to turn this. The Nether Toxin coming in. KP taking a lot of damage here. He's still alive for now. He might get dropped the Tombstone, and Solrip almost taking him down. The zombie's not enough. On the other side, they blow away Fenrir. They're still looking to chase further, but I think that's the end of it. A homing missile came out. Was it onto KP? It was, but he's able to regen up just in time, stay alive, and he will sit back on this side of the fight, and that looks to be over as they will take a 1-0 advantage of that fight for Newbee.
I mean, they didn't have the Gyrocopter there, but that is not a good look for Vici getting rebuffed at this tier 1 and Young 11.
Nice Shuriken, but he's pretty far behind. I don't think they can really go for this kill. They can maybe get the tower, though. And this will lead to Vici just splitting up the map and farming elsewhere. The good news is Ori is rather tanky. You saw with the Bloodstone, they couldn't quite get the kill. They were ready for that initiation from KP with a scan, but man, somehow he survives. I can't believe KP was able to live through all that damage. Pretty insane.
Yeah, well, that's just the product of his farm, right? If he doesn't have like the full drum and the wand, he's definitely dead there. Even the 5 armor talent, I like the decision to go for the armor here instead of the spell amplification. His team has enough damage. He just needs to be the one setting them up and making sure that he gets these lassos off. Right.
He's done a very good job. Light of Heaven in the meantime pinging a shrine, as he is one to do. Kaka is going to get charged. Split Earth will hit, and this is a dead bounty hunter more than likely. Faith, he still has the Edict, by the way, which is a very good spell to steal. He actually took down the tier 1 tower with it. Kaka will, of course, fall, but it's not that big of a kill. Now, Vici are going to try to get more aggressive and take over the enemy jungle. That is where things will get more interesting. And SCCC is on his way to the BKB, and that's what you need to really be afraid of if you're Vici. You have a lot of magic damage, and SCCC don't know if you can really deal with him with a 10-second BKB coming out pretty soon.
That's gonna be really scary. And we're also getting towards the point where if Newbee win a big fight, they can potentially take the Roshan, especially if SCCC opts for the -4 armor at his level 15 talent, which I think is pretty likely. Especially since I feel like Vici so desperately need a Solar Crest, but just neither of these 2 supports has any farm. And Young 11, his item was on the ground.
They want Young 11. Viper Strike comes out. Fenrir is dead. Solrip comes in. They will drop the Tombstone as well. KP still has the Lasso, but his blink has dropped off cooldown. There's the breakup. Plenty of damage. SCCC gets a crit, but there's a good split earth, and SCCC is getting blown away by Ori. He's got to run. The homing missile is going to take him down. He will fall. Can they get anybody else out of this? Paparazzi trying to turn and fight Mugi, and Mugi about to get dropped. The auto attack damage is there, and Mugi will find himself a killing spree. Faith getting run at by Ying 11, though, and Ori is just doing some serious work. Lanham, Sorp trying to keep himself alive, but Mugi is doing some serious damage. Almost getting the kill. KP with a flame break will string him down. Now it's going to be a double kill for Mugi, or they will find Kaka as the dust is up. It will be, I believe, a 2-for-4 trade. Newbee, they couldn't get the lasso off in time. They had Paparazzi just going to work along with Ori, bringing down SCCC. A 3-for-4 trade that will just slightly, at least in terms of the numbers, favor Vici Gaming, especially if they can get this tier 1 tower. Or tier 2, excuse me.
I mean, this is Lesh as a hero, right? If you can't burst him, he's just going to do so much damage. But I have to also give some props to Paparazzi in that fight. He did... did get bursted pretty quickly, but at least managed to get all the flak volley, get the call down off, and actually did almost as much damage as the Lesh did in that fight. So still have to be a little bit careful if you're newbie, since you don't have any of these defensive items like the pipe or anything online.
Yeah, I mean, you saw SCCC. As soon as he gets hit up with the split earth, he just dies. Shuriken will find Lanham as he's running up to the high ground. He's not even going to go for the bounty rune. It's not worth it. He doesn't want to die to SCCC. On the other side, Ori is in Viz. Split Earth will find Kaka because there's a sentry literally right there, and he's dead. He will get the track off before he dies. On the other side, there is a charge that will hit him to Roche. I think they were looking for KB, but he blinked out in time. So I think if you're a newbie, probably just wait for this BKB, wait for these defensive items at this point, because you really need them for SCCC.
Yeah, I think so. Well, they still need to look for a pickoff, look for pickoffs with the bat. And their vision game is a bit weak, so they will probably go for a smoke just to try and establish wards and get a pick. But in terms of taking a 5-on-5 fight, I think that's a little bit misguided right now. Young 11 also picking up the Crimson Guard now, so his job is very much just keep the Lesh alive, make sure that you pop the pipe in the Crimson for him, surge him away if he's in trouble, and they're just going to let Ori do all the work, which should work out great unless he gets lassoed and bursted. But
he does have Yules now too. He just picked it up.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's going Aeon Disc, which is a great item against somebody like a Phantom Assassin. So he is really trying to stay alive in these fights, and it makes sense. Ori is a big part of your win and your game plan for Vici Gaming. They have to make sure he can pump out all the damage that he can. But these next few moments are going to be important for Newbee.
This is a really cool choice. I really like this this Aeon Disc selection. I don't think Lincoln's is that reliable this game. I think if not for the Bounty Hunter, then maybe you would see the Lincolns come out, because it would still be the main goal here of the Aeon Disc is like, oh, I need to not die instantly if Batrider wants to go on me. But yeah, the Aeon Disc will kind of serve the same purpose, but not going to get popped instantly by track every time.
Right. And we see this Aeon Disc for pretty much... Oh, SCCC might be dead. He is getting charged. They cancel it. The mass TP's coming in for the rest of Newbee. And all right. That's going to be the end of that fight.
That's one way to force them back. And now they can use their TPs to go and hit multiple lanes and multiple different farm spots. And
right.
That one play probably just like earned them another 500 gold advantage, or maybe even a little bit less than that. But important to kind of test your opponents, right? Make sure that they're actually there to help keep their cores alive.
Make them push their buttons, essentially. Make them make mistakes for Newbee. They've done a good job of that. They've kept SCCC down. He is still a little bit away from this BKB. Kaka continues to play dangerously, but he needs to get vision for his team, and they are going to spot them all together. They're going to break the smoke immediately. I would imagine there's dust available. And there it is. And now he's dead. So that's the trade-off. Now Mugi's going to get charged, and he's in trouble. He'll force himself away. They're diving, kind of. There's no tier 1 tower here. Mugi is rather tanky. He's got the hood. They will steal Surge. There's the Viper Strike to come along with it. The Crimson Guard, you need to back up if your Newbie. Faith is dead. Split Earth will hit him along with the Rocket Barrage for a double kill from Paparazzi. The homing missile will fly on through. Now you need to back up. That homing missile was pretty speedy. It'll hit Mugi at the tier 3, but successful few ganks there for Vici. Now they can back up and potentially push this tier 2 tower.
They are very difficult to kill. A nice play from Faith with the Surge Steal and getting his Viper out of harm's way, but this is what Vici's lineup is about. The 5-manning, everybody sort of hanging around behind the Lesh, making sure that he's going to be okay. They are... KP's threatening this bottom tier one a little bit.
They're going to
Looks
lose
like
this
it
one
might
way or the
end up
other.
going down.
He needs to be very careful. He's going to try to go for this last hit, probably. Nope, just kidding. KP's going to not be able to get it, and Paparazzi's going to find him. Firefly Lasso, he's going to cliff him. He has no TP, so KP just being a cheeky bugger, and he's going to find himself a nice little cliff there. Although he might die for it. He has Blink and 2. He's going to get homing missile. Here comes the charge. But the rest of his team is coming. They're really trying to find Paparazzi. KP is still making a lot of space here. Good flame break. His Firefly is about to be done. He will go for the TP. There is a bash available, maybe. He can't get it off in time. They did take down Paparazzi, by the way. They're still chasing after Faith and Kaka, who are going to get backing back. At least one of them will. The dust is up. Kaka is no stranger to death this game. He's about to die for the 11th time. Although might survive. Still dusted. Tracking. He's pretty quick in terms of movement speed, but they'll try to chase him down. There's the Lightning Storm. That'll slow him up. They missed the Split Earth, but the Ion Shell is still going. The dust is about to wear off in about 2 seconds. There's the Lightning Storm. They need to find him. They will with the Decay. That will get the kill. Now KP has to back himself up. But it's all right. Space has been created for SCCC. Plus, they found the kill in the Gyrocopter. So that's pretty good, at least.
Yeah, I did not see that play at all from KP. Like, that KP would be able to drag him up onto that cliff and then just burn him down with the 2 supports coming over. But that was great. That was a huge amount of space. Even just a decent trade in terms of the numbers, right? Getting the track kill on the gyro, or just the bounty hunter, and top lane gets shoved in with PA now having her BKB online. So,
right.
In theory, is now able to jump into the fights pretty heavily. Ori is not going to be going for the Eon Disc. Will instead just opt for a Shiva's, and that's another way to just tank up, right? Grab some more armor.
I really like the Disc potential, but obviously he thinks better of it. He will go for the Shiva's Guard instead. And you were talking about a potential smoke with Newbee together before they got the BKB just to try to get some vision down. They're really starting to move out aggressively themselves, trying to either get vision down to try to take a fight. But they definitely need to get some vision because there's really good wards here from the Dire, getting some good vision on the top half of this map. I think Newbee need to get something done here. We'll see if they will smoke up, in fact. They have one on them. I think it's on, I don't know, Kaka, I think. Yeah. But they're just going to farm for now. Mugi's splitting up the map, trying to get his own BKB. And Roche has still not been taken by either team yet, by the way. So another thing to keep in mind.
Also, I guess it's not that impressive of a refresher shard game. We got to always talk about that with the new patch, but not too many crazy like refresher heroes necessarily.
The only thing I can think of is like KP double SO, but that's about it.
Yeah, I would probably end up just being for like a double BKB or something like that.
Right.
Maybe if the PA gets to a Satanic a little bit later on, or like Satanic Abyssal, start talking about refreshing all of that. But Vici, for now, just gonna head in there. I don't know if they're gonna put this on their Lesh or on the Gyro.
Well, one thing is for certain, they're gonna get this before Newbee get here. The scan comes in, but it's already too little, too late. Roche is going to get dropped to Split Earth, the Rocket Barrage, and now you have to wonder if Newbee are going to fight this. As CCC wants to jump onto Ori, the lasso will come in on the other side. That's on Illusion. No. This is a disaster already. Fenrir, Nether Strike, there's the BKB, but the back wall is dropped, and Kaka is already dead. The BKB for SCCC is not going to do anything. In fact, it's about to wear off here in a moment. They're at the Tier 2 tower. Mugi, he has a full BKB, but they will survive, at least on these heroes. I don't think they're going to die to the Tier 3 tower when a Tier 2 is still up. But Vici will force out the BKBs, get the Aegis, get a Kaka kill, because again, he's bounty hunter, he's died like 12 times, and now probably get a Tier 2 tower along with it.
Yeah, the two Newbee supports not really bringing a whole lot to the table at this stage. And Vici, I wonder if they'll just try and force the high ground here. I mean, they could maybe go back and play the lane control game. They're maybe not super happy with the vision situation across the Radiant side of the map, so it might go and go back, deal with the lanes, group back up, ward up, farm the whole Radiant jungle, and then maybe look for a play after that. It is difficult for Newbee to still move out just because of the Spirit Breaker. It's always that threat of charging out and finding an easy kill. And it sucks for Newbee that they use the 10-second BKB on the PA in a situation that doesn't really do anything for them.
If that would lasso was actually on Paparazzi, I think that maybe that fight that goes drastically different. Even so, they still had so much sustain, they had so much damage, they had so much team fight, which again, Newbee are kind of lacking themselves. But
yeah, they probably just get run down by the Lesh, I think, if in that situation. But
he's so strong.
That would have been nice.
He's like 23 plus charges now. His Shiva's done. He will after working on bots to get some extra move speed. He even went for the 15 strength. He doesn't even need the move speed. 15 strength just to keep him tanky and keep him alive. So It's
I think it was
working well.
smart that they took that little bit of extra time to decide, do we need to take the Darkseer right now, and like kind of ask themselves the question, will Newbee consider picking this Lesh if we don't? And they kind of thought it all the way through, and they're like, okay, we were not that worried if Newbee picked the Darkseer. We'll take this Lesh rack, and the Lesh has done so much work for them in this game. So very smart drafting from Vici. They've got that Solar Crest finally that I've been harping on about this entire time. So Undying's got that now. He's just going to be spamming it on the Lesh the whole time. It's basically Lesh's Solar Crest, right? But very, very nice for him to have in terms of just sieging the high ground. He's going to have some ridiculous amount of armor. We'll wait till what's it going to be, plus 10 on top of the 23 that he already has.
Yeah, I mean, Ori at this point is pretty unkillable. I feel like even if you get a good couple of lucky crits from SCCC, you're going to need to do some serious work. Not to mention he is an Aegis. So, Vici, they've got pretty much everything they need to keep Ori alive. Now the question is, what do they need to do to take buildings down and to push? Feels like they're doing it right now. They have a tier 2 taken down, but when do they decide to go high ground? With this Aegis, one would assume?
I think so. They probably just want to play lanes a little bit more. I mean, I don't even. Are they thinking about going right now? I guess they're kind of looking at their lanes and deciding maybe we can just go. Looks like they are going to cut mid to try and reset that lane a little bit more, perhaps. No, okay. Gyrocopter's is going to go clear it instead.
Yeah, he'll clear this quickly.
Continue to D-ward,
and then he can just meet up with the rest of his team, and they can go top if they want. They could even try going mid. How much time do they have on this Aegis? Minute and a half. Plenty of time to go high ground. And again, Ori's pretty unkillable to begin with, let alone with the Aegis, so we'll see.
Yeah, and I mean, Newbee aren't threatening buildings that hard with a Bounty Hunter and a Bat Rider at bottom, so.
Very true. They're not the best pushing duo. Maybe someday they will be, but not today. They are just trying to keep the waves pushed out. But Young 11 will Ion Shell top. They will push in mid with the Gyrocopter from Paparazzi, who has done a very good job getting in this game. He was really low in net worth at the beginning of this game, and you talked about it, and now he is sitting right behind that of Young 11. So they've given him a lot of farm. He's been involved in a lot of these fights, which I think has been a big impact for the Gyrocopter in this game.
Yeah, I think he made a smart decision in terms of his skill and item build to realize, okay, I'm behind. I'm just going to buy the Mask of Madness. It's a good farming item. I'm going to max out the Flat Cannon. I'm going to use that to farm. I saw him quite a bit over here at the Tri-Camp, using the Flak to farm all 3 camps at once. And I think that's a big part of where a lot of his farm has come from. And now he's disassembled the Mask to build a Butterfly to make life even harder for the PA, who has, in response to seeing the Solar Crest and the Butterfly, queued up an MKB, but it's going to take a little while for SCCC to get that.
Yeah, I mean, SCCC, he's going to be on the back for pretty much the rest of the game. Faith is going to get caught, almost gets bashed up. BKB forced. SCCC now has to back away immediately. Now that that's down, you could go without any real issue. And Kaka, of course, is found again. There's a Sentry, and he's just dead instantly. A double kill for Lanham. So BKB is now down again for SCCC. Yes, you lost your Aegis, but Vici, I don't think there's any real issues to worry about now to push high ground. You have Edict. You have 25 Bloodstone charges. It's time to go here, Basic Kip. It's time to go for Vici Gaming.
Yeah, more charges. Fenrir just forcing him back.
Spear Breaker play has been really good from Fenrir. And they'll try to even this series up at 1 apiece. Moogie in trouble, the Lightning Storm, Split Earth. He's still alive. He has a BKB to work with along with the Hurricane Pike, so he's fine for now, but plenty of damage being dealt. The Nether Toxin slowing down Vici slightly, but they will take the tier 3 tower with the Tombstone to back them up. They will earn up Ori, keep him alive, fighting Fit the Edict, coming in, doing plenty of damage. They will Pulse Nova down the wave. The melee Rax is gone. Now will they get the range? Yes. Will they move to another lane? Perhaps. Actually, they're going to leave the range because honestly, they don't need to really concern themselves with it. They will take the shrines now and go from there, I suppose. And I mean, Newbee just didn't even have a chance to fight that at all. There was just no real shot at it.
Yeah, shrines, play for a Roche. Like, that's... They're really in no rush at all. I don't think Newbee's damage isn't going to be scaling that quickly with the level of map control that they have right now. They got this left side to farm a little bit with some vision over here, but definitely need pickoffs to really get back in here. Lesh going to be going for Octarine next, so that's going to be making even more difficult to kill.
When did he die this game?
Talent he'll get at level 20.
He died once. When was he? Do you remember?
He got when KP lasted him over here.
Ah, that's right. Yeah, the side fight, the one good fight Newbee had, pretty much.
Wait, is it? Oh, who's just picking that shrine? That's the teams. It's not a.
I thought it was I might have
Just let
accidentally
him-
pinged it. Actually, I have no idea.
Okay. We need our own thing, Travis. Like, can we like ping?
I will
Can we
purchase Iron Branch. Excellent work there, Base Kip.
Yeah,
Really glad we
can
got that
be-
under control.
Yeah.
There's the BKB coming out the charge. KP is in trouble. Here goes a fight. The call down will come in. Good lasso. So far, Newbee are staying in it, but I don't know how much longer that's going to last as the wall comes dropped in. Paparazzi's taking a lot of damage from SCCC, but here comes the Rocket Barrage. SCCC is out of BKB, and he's going to get dropped down, and Ori continues to stay alive. Mugi will be next. His BKB is done. They get a double kill for Lanham. Too much damage to fight into. Too much of a lead for Vici Gaming. They will take 3. They won't take the game, not yet, but even with the stolen tombstone, it's not enough to kill Fenrir. It's getting close. There it is. But GG will be called, and Vici will even up the series at 1 apiece.
That fight actually looked all right for Newbee for a second there, but the items on Vici, the extra survivability that they're getting from the Solar Crest and all of the Darkseer's Pipe and Crimson Guard and all that, just letting the Lesh pump out damage nonstop. It wasn't even the Lesh. I've got the fight recap open, and it was actually the Gyrocopter.
Yeah, I just saw it too.
Tons of work. But